have to understand the historical background. As you know, all the ancient civilizations, when you look at the history, then the man having the history of domestication of animals since long. And in India, especially when you learn about the ancient civilization we called Indus Valley civilization, then in that also there are several seals we found, as well as the potteries where we found the symbol of the animals. Okay. So what it reflects that? It reflects that the human being were here, rears and use the animals since long. So there is a uh, you can say a very interactive relation between the animals and the man since long. And you can found that uh, when you observe the history, that man's also symbolizes the power, agility in the form of this animal. There are various symbols. Say, for example, when you look at the Ashoka Stambha, there is a land capital. What is the symbol of that? The pride, agility, and the power. So basically, the animal symbolizes since long. Now the question is that, as you know, the animals are of two types. One is the wild animals, another is the domesticated or pet animal. I'm talking about here not about the wild animals species, but again in the animal husbandry, which is a branch of agriculture. What is animal husbandry? It is a branch of agriculture in which what we learn? We learn the rearing, breeding, and caring of cattle. So basically, not only the cattle, but other animals also. Like we also learn about the breeding technology, caring methods, as well as rearing technology of buffalo, goat, sheep, camel, horses, mules, donkeys. Apart from that, now this branch is elaborated where we also learn about the insect rearing, like the bees, okay, honeybee, I'm talking about silk worms, as well as lac insects. Okay, so animal husbandry is very, very prolific, profound, and developing branch of agriculture. So, what is the scenario of animal husbandry in India? We have to learn. So, how we should cover this topic to cover holistically this? Let's understand. So, let's understand the structure first. We called it Pashupalan in Hindi. So, in introduction, I will little bit the history of animal husbandry practices in India. And the importance little bit about importance and significance, why we are learning this topic, animal husbandry. We have to understand it in the introduction. Then the overall scenario of animal husbandry in India. Overall scenario of animal husbandry in India, I will also discuss. Okay, so apart from introduction, we have to discuss in the body part the overall scenario, status. What is the status of animal husbandry in India? Okay, and you also get the question in preliminary examinations. Various questions directly appear from this section. Now, apart from that, I will also discuss here the challenges in animal husbandry. Then I will also discuss the steps taken by the government of India to improve this sector. What is the contribution of this allied sector in socio-economic development of India? Development of India. This is another topic of discussion related to animal husbandry, because animal husbandry comes under allied sector of agriculture. And then I will also discuss here achievements of this sector, achievements of this sector, the sector of animal husbandry, and then critically analyze this sector's Growth, development, and challenges. So this will be the structure. Largely under this structure, if you create a framework, you get several questions related to it. Some facts you have to cram also. Sometimes if any research center is in news where we develop the breeds, it may be a question. So some questions appear from the current affairs sites also. So you have to understand and learn some breeds of different cattles, institutions and organizations. Organizations like that, hybridizations, technology. So some topics which is related to the current affairs. Apart from these major hits, you have to cover from newspaper and the magazines. So in the animal husbandry sections, I will start with the history of animal husbandry. As I have said, ever since the human evolution, the man having the companionship with the animals. Man rears and domesticated the animals. One of the oldest animals which the man's domesticated were the dogs. But later the man also domesticated the cow, buffalo, ox, bull. Even the Indus Valley civilization still having the images of the bull, the images of the deer, the images of the elephants, the images of the lion. Okay. Even in the Vedic culture in India, the cow is supposed to be the very pious. Okay, because during that period of time, the society was agrarian society. And in agrarian society, always there is a importance and significance of animals. Because these animals also involve in agricultural practices. The man's used in plowing, in preparing the land, in tillage. The man also used the cow dung as a what? Compost. Okay, manures. So there is a long history of domestication of animals. Okay. And further, we have to understand what is the present scenario, what is the present status, where we are, okay, in comparison to the others nations of the world. What is the status of India in the cattle population? What is the status of India in the buffalo population, goat, sheep, camel, horse? Okay. What is the status of India in the milk production, in the egg production, in the meat production, in the wool production, in the fishery production? So we have to understand, and certain questions you directly get from this. Two revolution I had already discussed. One related to agriculture, that is green revolution, and the futuristic approach, second green revolution, evergreen revolution, and second, which is related to milk production, the white revolution. Another revolution I will discuss, the blue revolution, which is again very vital and important, and several times the questions also appear from the blue revolution. But here first let's look at the condition of the animals in India and the practices of animal husbandry. Okay, so importance, as I have suggested, importance and significance, and then challenges, steps taken by, and the what is the contribution in economy and social development, apart from that achievement till now, and then overall critical analysis of this sector. Okay, so let's understand. In introduction, what I have mentioned that ever since the human came into this on this planet Earth, because human evolution, according to Charles Darwin, the human evolved from the monkeys. Okay, earlier there was a ape-like man, Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon. Okay, further the Homo sapiens came into existence, and since the evolution of Homo sapiens started practicing domestication and started rearing the animal. So what I have mentioned here, that ever since humans came into existence, okay, the animals have been friend and companion to the humans in the myriad ways in the most extreme survival situation. Okay, because earlier the situation was not conducive. If you learn the history of India, then earlier the people resided along the coastal belt, because the central part of the peninsula having the dense forest, and in that dense forest, south to the, because majority of the native Indians residing south to the Vindhyas mountain. When you learn the ancient history, you get that the native Indians were residing in the coastal area south to the Vindhyas mountain, the peninsular India having the dense forest. And in that dense forest, the variety of wild animals are also living. So the mans, for their safety and security, living along the western and eastern coastal beaches or the coastal plains. Okay. Gradually, the man, when you learn about the human evolution in anthropology, in biology, then what you find that the man started developing their skills. Okay. They started using, in the Paleolithic time period, they started using the stone tools. That's why that age is known as Paleolithic, the old stone age. During the old stone age, what the mans are using? The stone tools. For what purposes? For digging, for killing the animals, because the mans were the hunters and gatherers. There was no practices of agriculture. They don't know the agricultural activities. Just they are hunters or gatherers. कुछ मिल गया खा लिया या मार के खा लिया. मारने के लिए आपको हथियार चाहिए था, हथियार पत्थरों के थे. Okay, in the Mesolithic period, again the skills develop and enhance. They started making the sharp stone tools. And in Neolithic period, gradually the men understand the use of fire. वो फायर का भी इस्तेमाल करना सीख लिया. एंड व्हेन दे स्टार्टेड फायर, तब वो रॉ मीट जो खाते थे वो मीट को पकाने भी लगे. इसके पहले तो वो कच्चा ही खा लेते थे, बिकॉज देयर वाज नो फायर. ग्रेजुअली, एंड फॉर किलिंग द एनिमल्स, दे स्टार्टेड डोमेस्टिकेटिंग द डॉग्स, सराउंड करने के लिए, अवेयर करने के लिए जानवरों से. तो उन्होंने द ओल्डेस्ट एनिमल्स the man started rearing and domesticated as a pet was the dog. Dogs help in hunting. Okay. So from there the history begins of the animal husbandry, the rearing of animals. Okay. Later, when the man also invented the plowshare. Plowshare का मतलब हल, हल जिससे कि खेती करते, जुताई करते, वो भी किससे बनाया? स्टार्टिंग जो हल बनाया वो भी पत्थरों से बनाया. देन दे स्टार्टेड यूजिंग द लॉग, लकड़ियां, फिर वुड, स्टार्टेड यूजिंग द वुड. फिर आपका आयरन एज आता है, तब उसमें आयरन के फिर बनते हैं हल. लेकिन उसके पहले तो वो पत्थरों से और लकड़ियों से हल बनाते हैं, नॉट ऑफ द आयरन. एंड एज यू नो, in the Indus Valley civilization, there was a traces of barley, there was a traces of wheat. It means that agricultural practices begins along the Indus Valley civilizations or along the Indus and its tributaries. Okay. and the man started using the drought animals. And especially in the Vedic culture, there are several animals, those who are mentioned, and the cow were mentioned. Okay, the people also have the meat. मैंने कहा start from the beginning. पहले रॉ खाते थे, अब पका कर खाते हैं, यानी मीट का इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, मिल्क का भी इस्तेमाल होने लगा. ओके, तो ये प्रोडक्ट्स जो हैं वो भी यूज करना इंसान शुरू किया. तो एनिमल्स प्रोडक्ट भी यूज कर रहा है, एनिमल को भी यूज कर रहा है, डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली. So the practices of animal husbandry is not new. In the modern time period, okay, a new branches is developed, which is agriculture. And as you know, there are several agricultural university, colleges and institutions are there. And in agriculture, there is a separate branch which is developed. We called it animal husbandry. So what is animal husbandry? Animal husbandry is a branch of agriculture which deals with the art of breeding, caring and rearing of animals. So the candidate, those who choose at a university level animal husbandry, then what they learn? They learn the breeding techniques to develop various kind of animals. They also learn how to care, how to make them disease free. There is a separate branches, the veterinary science, where the peoples become the doctors of the animals. They treat the animals as well as they also rears, they understand. And now to promote this, there is a separate institutions in India and all across the world. So many ancient historical monuments, when you go through, अभी आप देखोगे bull capital, lion capital, there is a symbol of the various birds, you find out. Even in the cave paintings, you find out the images of deer, the images of the birds and the wild animals. When you learn of the history, what you find that in Ajanta, in Ellora, in the Barabar Hill caves of Gaya, there are so many caves paintings are there at different places where the animals are also depicted along with the man. What it shows that in that period the mans are giving importance to the animal when you learn the history. So what I have said, that many ancient historical monuments and the findings at excavation of the old civilizations, okay, have proved the intense relation of animal with the human since before its beginning of the written documentation. The first written documentation in India was the Vedic scripture, and the oldest Vedic scripture is Rig Veda. Before that, we have no any written description, but we have poetry, we have seal, and from that we also get the evidences of domestication and rearing of animals. Okay, getting my point. Human had been domesticating animal for his own good by training, okay, and using them for their various uses, supporting everyday work like hunting, gathering, plowing, transporting weights for the long distance, or rough terrain like hilly region, providing a rich source for protein for himself. I had already discussed everything. How the man's for the variety of purposes using the animals. Okay. So animal is a intricate symbol of our culture also. There are various rituals in which the animals involves. Earlier the people sacrifices the animals also. Still there are certain evidences where you find the sacrifices of the animals. Okay, तो उसके भी evidences मिलते हैं. Why? To attain the power. Okay. Now, apart from this, the animal skin, hide, feathers, fat, leather, fur were still are extensively used for the various purposes. These are the animal product. So overall the animals is again important, not as a drought animal. What we use as a drought animal, we use in the agriculture field for the what? For the plowing, leveling, tilling, as well as we are also using the animal products. Okay, we since long, when you look at the history, the oldest means of transport is the bullock cart or the horse cart. Again, the animals used to just what? Carry these carts. So the oldest means of transport they are. Okay, the people in the uh, snowy areas, they use reindeers for transport. They use dogs for transport. आपने देखा है स्नोई एरिया में डॉग्स को यूज करते हैं, रेंडियर्स यूज करते हैं. Yak is used in the hilly areas of the Himalayas. Okay, as you know, in the Ladakh for the transport. So the people use. And since then, if we compare now, we still continue to use the animals and depend on the animals. Okay, despite so much advancement in technology. Shall we left? No. Still we are rearing. हमने अभी तक नहीं छोड़ा है एनिमल्स को, अभी तक भी हम डोमेस्टिकेट कर रहे हैं, रियर कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. अब क्या है कि एनिमल्स को हम लोग अपने रिक्रिएशन और अम्यूजमेंट के लिए भी यूज करते हैं. कई सारे ऐसे इवेंट्स होते हैं जहाँ एनिमल पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं. हॉर्स रेसिंग, अभी तो गाँव में जाओगे तो मुर्गा उर्गा भी लोग लड़ाते हैं, उसमें भी गेम होता है. तो उसके बाद तो छोड़िए. एंड द कॉस्टलीस्ट गेम ऑफ द वर्ल्ड यू कैन से इज द हॉर्स रेसिंग, हॉर्स राइडिंग. आपने देखा है जॉकीज के ऊपर पैसे लगाते हैं हॉर्स के ऊपर, वो बहुत कॉस्टलीस्ट गेम है. ठीक है ना. तो आप देख रहे हो कि अम्यूजमेंट और रिक्रिएशन के लिए भी हम यूज कर रहे हैं, और प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए भी यूज कर रहे हैं, ट्रांसपोर्ट में भी यूज कर रहे हैं, एज अ ड्रॉट एनिमल एग्रीकल्चर में भी यूज कर रहे हो. तो डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ यूज है एनिमल्स की एट द प्रेजेंट टाइम पीरियड, एंड इन इकोनॉमी they are playing a vital role. Okay, but here I am talking about the domesticated animals. Okay, so in country where the majority of the population of a rural household and economically weaker sections, now for that the animals are very very important. Okay, depend on agriculture, and agriculture is largely subsistence, and for the subsistence agriculture as a drought animal, as a important, you can say, means of agriculture, the drought animals were used, and the cow, buffalo, pig, goats, sheep these are the major animals used by the Indians, whether in the rural economy. They play very very significant and vital role in the rural economy, in the upliftment of rural economy.